tokenized securities, tokenized shares of a company, it all begins to make sense. So today I wanted to talk about the tokenization of Wall Street and tokenized securities, and also a new patent that I found by Mastercard. So Wall Street, stock market, tokenization, blockchain, how do we connect the dots? How do we make 1 + 1 = 2? And it's actually quite simple, and it actually ties in with all these patents that are popping up around blockchain technology. I think in the future, Wall Street is going to be totally digitalized. I think it's going to be like the stock market anyway. The stock market is going to be totally digitalized. It's going to be tokenized. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, one of the merits of the legacy system going digital and embracing blockchain, millennials would much rather invest in cryptocurrencies than on the stock market, I would say. I think cryptocurrencies are more appealing to the new generation because it's more tech-based, it's more tech-savvy, and the whole registration process isn't as long and tedious. Now, say for example, if you wanted to invest in a company like Vodafone or HSBC, and if one of those shares, for example, are $10, $100, $1,000, if it's tokenized in the same format as we use cryptocurrencies and as divisible as cryptocurrencies are, that means then that someone with not much money can actually invest in the stock market much easier. For example, you could buy half of a share of a company, or a quarter, or 0.1 or 0.2. That's big, right? That brings in the little man. That enables the everyday person to be able to invest in pretty much any company, no matter what their income is. As long as they have some capital coming in, they can invest. They don't need to, they can basically invest as much or as little as they want. If they only want half a share, they can have half a share. Like people can buy half a Bitcoin or a quarter of a Bitcoin. I think the stock market eventually will be represented by tokens. So, will it be ERC20 tokens? Well, I don't know about that. We'll have to wait and see on that front. But I certainly do think it's going to be a tokenized platform. And it's going to run on a blockchain or some kind of ledger. See, the thing is, what we have to remember here, guys, is that the blockchain is a double-edged sword. The blockchain is great for decentralization, for peer-to-peer transactions. It actually make investing, the whole procedure of investing, very open source. Does that make sense? But also, blockchain can be used for centralization as well. Every single company that has shares on the market, right? Whether it's the FTSE, the S&P, the Nasdaq, whichever, they could all of them be represented by a token, a digital token, and you can buy fractions of that digital token, or you can buy in bulk, depending on how much money you have, as technology begins to innovate and disrupt. And I think this is what blockchain is going to do to the stock market. Now, why do I think this? Well, let's connect the dots. So I recently read an article today that Mastercard has a blockchain patent as well. So I don't know what Visa's doing, but Visa needs to be taking notice, because now Mastercard and Ripple are after Visa. Okay? Now, basically, so what's this patent doing? What Mastercard seem to be, and I'll leave the link to this below as well, but Mastercard seem to be building something where you can basically have your fiat currencies and your cryptocurrency, your blockchain-based currencies. Now, I think that this is going to merge. But basically you'll have cryptocurrency storage options on your bank account. Like how someone can have, like for example, if we have a bank account, like an international bank account, and you can have the European account. the dollar account, the pound account, the yen account under one bank. It seems like it's going to be something similar to that, but much more streamlined and much more efficient. Which cryptocurrencies are they going to use for that? Again, I don't know. We'll have to let history be the judge on that. I think IBM are building their own, developing their own stable price stable cryptocurrency. And if we look at the other patents that have been that are in the works as well, right? With Bank of America, IBM, so many others, we start to see a trend. Okay, we start to see a strong pattern developing, a pattern of patents, where financial institutions are actually developing this and do have plans for blockchain. Fits in line. So everything that has just been very vaguely discussed in this video all kind of connects together, right? If we connect the dots, and I always say connect the dots, blockchain patterns, tokenized securities, tokenized shares of a company, it all begins to make sense. It all begins to make sense. The infrastructure is being built to create this. So in the future, we're going to have a stock market where you want to launch it, you want to list a company on a particular market, and you want people to invest. You may have to do an ICO rather than an IPO. I think ICOs are going to be totally regulated, and it's going to take over IPOs, in my opinion. If your company has shares, it's going to be digital. It's going to be like how we look at like shit tokens on bloody Poloniex or Binance. It's going to be like that. I think there's still going to be some regulatory framework, but it's going to make the whole investment process so much more open source and so much more accessible to the everyday person. But the big difference is, who are the early birds and who are the latecomers? I'm just speculating here, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Look at SoftBank. Look at SoftBank's virtual exchange. They're listing XRP, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash. SBI Holdings are one of Japan's biggest banks. What does that tell you? They're taking this shit seriously. They're taking this shit seriously. And there's going to be latecomers to this, and there's going to be the early birds. Now, are you an early bird? Only you can answer that. I can't answer that for you. Do you hold crypto? Take it from there. But I think there's going to be a massive explosion and a massive increase in capital. It's not going to happen overnight. That's why I've even mentioned the price rally of the last 36 hours. Until Bitcoin is above like 12, 13K and broke those Fibonacci levels, I still think we're in a bear market. The long run, yeah. I think Wall Street is going to be totally tokenized. Totally tokenized. And these like Coinbase is now is allowed to list digital securities, like tokenized securities. That's no joke. That's no joke, guys. Connect the dots. And check out the video I did about 8 months ago where I talk about banks providing cryptocurrency storage services and enabling cryptocurrencies to be integrated into our everyday lives. Check out that video. Done.